The Maple Leafs are in a tailspin, having lost four in a row. Who should shoulder the blame? Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan. And guys, it's tough times in Leafland right now. The Leafs dropping four in a row, three straight in regulation, something that they haven't done since October of 2021. Lance, we'll start with you. Who deserves to have the finger pointed at them for what has transpired over the last week?
Well, to no one's shock, the schedule got a little harder. This was something everybody saw coming off the elation about whipping San Jose a couple of times. So certainly nobody expected an easy ride. But you know what? They've not been able to finish. The coverage has been atrocious at times. Secondary scoring has dried up to a degree, and not only are they not drawing many power plays, they're not scoring on many. So you add all that up, and it's been loss after loss. You know, there's been a couple of shots of a very disgusted or whatever Sheldon Keefe on the bench. You can see the frustration there, and you got to make sure that that's not growing forward. I mean, they put a lot of stock into this trip coming up. They have a lot of fan support in the West. Last night looked like they're off to a good start. Again, they faded. Got to make more hay in Calgary, Vancouver, Seattle, and then the back-to-back against Winnipeg. All tough games. Should bring out the best of them, but so far, post San Jose and that California trip, it has not.
Yeah, Sheldon Keefe was asked last night after the game, guys, if he's concerned that the blown leads are becoming a trend, and he bristled at that and said it's been 8 days. Well, it hasn't. It has in that regard, I suppose. But the fact of the matter is, Leafs played 42 games. They've won 21 and lost 21. This goes back to game one of the season, the inconsistent hockey. And he had said the other day, going into the game against Detroit, the goal for the second half is to be consistent. So he knows it hasn't been good. And, Mitch Marner coming out last night saying, we know we're a great hockey team. Detroit wins tonight in Florida. The Leafs are into a wild card spot. That's not a great hockey team. And as far as who takes the blame, I think everybody does. It starts in the summer with the moves that Brad Treliving made. The players that came in haven't provided the depth or anything else that the players that left did, or some of the defensive acumen. And that's on the GM. The signings of Ryan Reeves and John Klingberg were disasters. There's no two ways about it. And, Reeves comes in, doesn't play, or, plays, doesn't play well, gets hurt. Probably is healthy enough to come back now. There's no indication he will. So what do the Leafs do? They have to trade a player, a really good industrious forward like Sam Lafferty, to clear that space to keep Reeves. And moves like that hurt. John Klingberg was a signing no one ever understood. And, before he got hurt, he was not doing good things for them anyway. Fact of the matter is, it's on all of them. If you're going to make a coaching change now, which a lot of people are talking about, then you have to trust that the new guy coming in, whoever that might be, could get more out of this group. And I don't know if that's possible. I really don't.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Terry, because as we know, when a team has expectations and they start to falter a bit, the head coach is going to be in the hot seat, and it's starting to get a little warm here for Sheldon Keefe. But considering everything that you mentioned, how it's been a whole organizational effort to get to this point, are there any questions about his job security if the team keeps struggling?
No, sure there are. If this happens through the trip, I mean, and then like Lance alluded to, then you come home and you've got the consecutive games against the Winnipeg Jets. So you have 5 games now before the All-Star break. And like the words Lance used are true. You have to make hay here. And if they don't, then what do you do? I mean, you're going into Calgary now. That I think the Flames won 4 in a row in 7 of their past 9 games. So, and battling for a playoff spot in the Western Conference, certainly no pushovers. And then we all know what Vancouver has done. And until recently, Seattle was on a heck of a run as well. So nothing's ever easy. I suppose the games against San Jose those were cakewalks for the Leafs, but something has to be done here between now and next Saturday when they visit the Jets. And if not, it's something that Brad Treliving will have to seriously consider if he doesn't before that time comes.
Well, it's interesting right off the bat that Kyle Dubas, his safety net, I'm talking about Sheldon Keefe now, is not there anymore. So, Brad Treliving may have a different long-term view of what Sheldon Keefe is capable of. On the other hand, it's they have lost 4 games before in this season and bounced back. It's optics-wise, it's very tough to do anything, I think, coaching-wise change right before the All-Star game, and especially with the schedule, because no matter who you put in, alluding to Terry's point, they're going to have the same tough schedule Sheldon Keefe had. So, don't look for miracles, as far as that goes. Plenty of time, I think, for this team to turn things around, but the pressure, just because of the the playoff failures and the fact that people are, they've seen a lot of Sheldon Keefe, and sometimes really with the players, it happens inevitably to every coach that the team tunes them out. I'm not saying it's happening here, but maybe they're getting close to this point, and really. It's the interesting thing, though, is that two guys who might be in line to replace him would be Guy Boucher would be one who's on staff, but of course he's had some struggles getting the power play going and all that. So it'd be interesting to see who might be out there and bring them in. But the reality is you've seen other teams make changes, such as Edmonton, and look where they are now. There'll be some revisionist history there, I'm sure.
One thing I find interesting is just today the Leafs were scheduled to practice in Calgary this afternoon. They canceled it, and apparently the media leaving the rink last night in Edmonton were not aware of that. So it was a late cancellation for whatever reason. Whether that's a sign of anything, not sure. But they didn't practice on Monday, had the back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, so we're going back to last week since they last practiced. So I think that's a bit of an interesting development. But perhaps it's just Sheldon Keefe thinking, okay, we need to just get away from it here for a day before we hit the ice in Calgary for the morning skate on Thursday. But like I said earlier, this goes back to the beginning of the year, and it's an ongoing thing. And your big stars got to lead you out of it. It looked good for a bit last night, like Lance said, and then it didn't. So the next 5 games are going to be awfully interesting and really could chart the course for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it really is a crucial stretch for this Maple Leafs team right now. Out west, as always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below or send us an email at TorontoMapleLeafs@postmedia.com. For Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.